just gonna go with it and kind of figure it out.
I'm Matt Mack and this is Bloody Mavericks. Today on the show we've got a really special guest, really special person, owner and operator of Peak Rehab, medical spa and cannabis clinic. Hey up Kaisehain. I don't know how close that was, but welcome, Dr. Naeha Sareen.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It's amazing to have you today. That's supposed to be Hindi.
Can you say it again?
Hey up Kaisehain.
Oh, okay.
It's closer now.
Up kaise ho.
Up Kaiseho.
And that's like, how are you?
Yeah, that's supposed
and
to
be.
And
that is Hindi, yes.
All right, awesome. I have a long way to go with learning, that's for sure.
Good then.
It's always challenging to figure out the new way and those welcomes and trying to get a little bit.
Yeah, that's sweet though, not bad at all.
Awesome, good to hear. Naeha, you are Canadian born.
Yes.
But your background, your parents' background is from India.
Yes.
Which part? What is it? How that whole story unveils and where it's...
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more.
So my mom's from Delhi. My dad's from the north in Punjab. So we're like Punjabi. So my parents came in the 70s. In the 70s, lots of Indians immigrated to Canada. They both came to Hamilton. That's where like I'm originally from. I grew up in Stony Creek. So lots of Indians came to Hamilton at that time in the 70s, and then they met there and they got married.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so they didn't know each other back in India. And then that's it. They had all their kids in Hamilton and Stony Creek, and they're still there. We've all moved to like Toronto and like outside of Toronto or outside of Hamilton. There's 4 of us.
All right.
And that's it. We were like there our whole lives. And they're still there, so.
Okay, so your parents are still in Stony Creek.
Yeah.
And all your siblings moved to Toronto?
So 3 of us are in Toronto and 1 is in Milton.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Everyone pretty close.
Yeah,
GTA
close enough. We see our parents all the time. It's like an hour drive.
Yeah, that's
They come down, we go, so we're all very close.
Amazing. So which sibling are you?
I'm number 3 of 4.
Number 3 of 4. Okay. Brothers, sisters, how
So
about?
2 older sisters, then me, then a little brother.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, a big family.
Yeah, I'm coming from the same family. There are
Right.
4 of us as well. So yeah, it's a big family, but there are bigger ones for sure.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So,
That is true.
tell me, how does that growing up in Indian family with an Indian background, how does that look like from your eyes, your perspective? Because you've been born in Canada, you are as Canadian as it gets, right?
Yeah.
So it's there are those nuances, there is the heritage, but what does that mean for you?
So I definitely grew up being like one of the only Indians in the town that I grew up in. There was like very few of us. I can tell you, like I think there was 3 of us.
Wow.
So it looked a little different for me compared to like the friends that I had in my circle. Like I wasn't I wasn't allowed to do a lot of the things that the other kids were allowed to do. Like my parents were very much so like, you got to study and stay at home and not allowed to sleep over at people's houses and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was, I didn't really feel like much different. I guess maybe because I also didn't have like so much exposure to like other Indian kids, so I didn't really know any different.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a great upbringing, and I'm really happy the way everything went down. But yeah, we grew up in a household where we were fully Indian in the sense like my grandparents lived with us, so at home we spoke Hindi and Punjabi and English because my parents, like obviously they're living and working in Canada, they fully learned English and all that, so we also spoke English with them. Now it's a mixture. I speak English with my dad, but I speak Hindi with my mom. It's just the way it is. But yeah, I never felt and I don't really notice any difference in terms of like the way I felt. Like I didn't feel any different. Like I didn't feel like, oh, I'm an outsider, or like I'm Indian and everybody else is like, you know, like a typical Canadian or so.
That's right.
So
at the end of the day, who's a typical Canadian, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
These days, especially, I think Toronto is one of the, if not number one, is one of the most mixed.
Toronto is for sure. Where I grew up, it was not like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by that. But yeah, Toronto's amazing. That's why I love living in Toronto. It's like so diverse.
That's right. There are so many cultures, different. Yeah, you drive a little bit and you are in completely different.
Yeah.
Different country almost, right? So
exactly.
it's pretty cool out here. Before we're gonna talk about it right now, but I don't want the food to get cold.
Okay.
So we've got my blind guess today, which was a chicken tikka masala. You tell me how good it went, and we'll go from there. Go ahead.
Alrighty. It's gonna a little one. Oh.
Just a taste.
Yep. So did you make this?
No, no. However, like I tried a couple times doing something. Like me and wife, we love to eat different things. So,
yeah.
We would try different things, and she does a lot. I tried doing something similar in Indian style, never was a big success. So
yep, it tastes like chicken tikka masala.
how it should. All right.
Yep, I can smell it too. So
It's really intensive with
we use lots of spices.
yeah.
It has a little bit of a kick to it, which is good. Indians love their spicy food. It's good.
That's right. It's really good. So growing up on the side of Indian culture, what is something that is so remarkable or resembles the culture that you grew up with? Your parents make sure that you know it and you continue doing it. What you would say?
I think just like our family values, like we're so close, so I think like that's super important to my family and my parents actually, and I think that's like when you think of most Indian families, like they're very, very close. Back in India, you know, I mean it happens here too, but a lot of the time like families kind of like live together. It does not like, it's not really happening in our generation, but like it's not shocking to like see that. So yeah, just very close knit.
So like multi-generational houses basically, right?
Like our grandparents live with us. Like when your parents get older, they're gonna live with somebody. They ain't going anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the plan also for you guys?
I mean, we haven't, like there's 4 of us, we haven't discussed anything like that. Like my parents are very independent. But yeah, like we're not gonna be leaving our parents anywhere, that's for sure.
How old are your parents right now?
Late 60s.
Okay. Yeah, you guys still have time to discuss.
Yeah.
It's definitely a journey. So besides, like, first thing that usually comes to my mind about different cultures is starting with food, because that's the easiest way to kind of transfer the emotions, the flavors, all, which is, that's where the culture starts in my perspective. So chicken tikka masala is quite a resemblance, or not really? What would be something that you grew up with?
Oh, there's like so many different like types of food. Growing up, I didn't really eat a lot of meat because my grandma didn't let us have meat in the house. Okay. Like some Indians just don't eat. It's like don't eat meat at all. So we wouldn't really eat a lot of meat unless we were like going outside of the house. It just wasn't allowed in our house. But like we eat a lot of like, it's called roti, which is like you know, it's like a pita bread or naan or whatever people say here. I mean, it is naan, but like that's the best way to like let someone know like that's kind of what I'm talking about. And then it's kind of like with like these different like vegetables that are like sauteed with like spices and onions and tomato. So that's like the typical thing that we would probably eat like every single day with like rice or like lentils or something along those lines. This is like the typical thing that you'd find at like any restaurant here would serve this. It's like the most basic type of dish now. That butter chicken, which is my favorite dish in the whole world. I
really?
love it. So that's like the best dish. So yeah, those types of dishes. Yeah. So yeah, we grew up eating Indian food for sure.
And on the grandma side,
Yeah.
and vegetarian, I would say, right? And not eating. Was it because of religion or was it because of just personal preference? Religion.
Yeah. She was like super. I mean, I guess she was super religious and like, yeah. So no meat.
Is she still with you guys?
No.
Okay, so that changed after.
I think it like as we got older and we started like going out on our own and stuff, like we would like be eating meat, so it was kind of like we were like, oh, we're just gonna like eat it, sort of thing, and then. Yeah. But we didn't actually ever bring it in the house.
I get
so just out of respect for her. But now, like like my parents, you know, they'll like they don't care, like we eat it. We don't bring beef in our house. We're Hindu. And that's like against our religion to eat beef. So we won't like, you know, some of us eat beef, but because like we're not like super religious, but my parents don't, so it won't come in our house, but they know we eat it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's super interesting that while you grew up with certain things and certain ways of doing things, at the end of the day, when you go out there on your own, you will find your own way, tweak it to the way that fits you best, right?
Yeah.
Do you find, or did you find it hard during the younger years, especially like being with your friends, even going out? Did you ever had that moment where you decided, oh, everybody is eating meat and I shouldn't? Was it like a transition or was it pretty easy for you?
Yeah, like no one really like noticed or really cared. I would eat meat, but I just wouldn't eat beef. And I think my close friends, like they knew, but I mean, it wasn't a big deal for anybody. And then as I got older, like I want to eat a steak, so I did.
I get you. I get you. All right. Yeah, makes sense. Like the discovery part and is pretty important, and you learn this way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
More about yourself and what you want. If I would ask you about Indian Hindu culture, what would you show me or tell me? What would be the first things that you would like? If I would be the person who doesn't know anything, have never been in touch with the culture, what would that be?
Ooh, there's like too many things about us. We are very colorful, like very how should I put it? Like very cultural and very like I don't know about open, but I would say come to India so I can show you because I can't even describe it. Like I guess in my culture we're like party people, like we're very like we like to celebrate, we like to get together, like eat like amazing food, party sort of thing. I would say that. And then there's obviously other types of people that are like, you know, a little more like religious. I think a lot of, if you're talking about Hindu people, like, you know, like some of them are super religious and stuff. So we have these big temples that we go to and like, and all that. So it's just like it's very expansive. There's like so many different types of Indians too.
That's right.
Like different cultures, they speak different languages. But yeah, very like colorful people.
All right. So on the journey of becoming your own self, growing up and going out of the home, like a parental home, if you could think about one or a couple things that kind of you made you successful, that is coming from how you've been raised and what resembles your background.
Okay, yeah. So my parents were always very much so like study, 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 study. Like it was never not going to like university was not an option for any of us. Like it was like, study hard and get into a good school so you can like become a professional of some sort. And we all did that, and we're obviously very grateful for that, because that push that they gave us, like not giving us that option, kind of got us, I think, to where we are today. So yeah, like we were always, told to study first, then whatever else comes after. And yeah, I think nowadays, like you can become an entrepreneur without going to school. And I believe that too, because, my other businesses that I have nothing to do with what I went to school for.
Yeah.
But I think it like really instilled like work ethic in me. Even like, at times it was kind of like, oh, like my friends are going out and I literally was not allowed to go out. Like I was at home studying. My friends even joke about that. Like I have this like one core group of friends and we talk every single day on group chat. And sometimes like, our old stories come up and they're always like, oh yeah, like Neha was like sitting at home studying and we were like out, sort of thing. So at the time it was kind of like, oh, it kind of sucks, but I am happy because like, yeah, I got into a good school and then I was able to like become a professional. So yeah. I don't know if I fully answered your question. I forget now.
You didn't. It kind of applies in a different way because it's a personal question, right?
Yeah.
So it whatever you feel that brings you that you carry, that allowed you to get successful, it's yours to say, right? And to decide what that is.
Yeah. And I think like my parents came and they went to school back home, but then here they didn't come and go to school. So it's very important that they gave us these opportunities. So it's like for them, they saw, okay, you go to school and then you become a professional, so you don't have to work other types of jobs. Like don't just work a job, like get a career, sort of thing. So like going to school was like so important for them. Like I don't even think they wouldn't even think that there was any other option. Like they're working so hard and like so they can afford to pay for our education.
I get you. So
we have to do it, right?
Yeah. So it was basically instilled in you from.
Yeah, I could never even think of any other option. Like I was like, okay, cool. Like I have to study and I'm gonna probably, I'm gonna go into science. Like that's like the good choice. Then I can become something in the medical field, which is like typical of Indian people too, to become like some sort of professional. Like
doctor, right? In that the medical field, right?
Yeah.
So was it a family push or was it your choice to go that route?
I always wanted to, like, I studied sciences. So after you get a science degree, I didn't really know what else there was to do. It's like some sort of like healthcare practitioner. I was in between like wanting to become a dentist. My older sister is a chiropractor, so I think that helped. And then I applied to this school in Canada, or Toronto, and I got in, and I was like, well, this is awesome. I don't have to like move too far away. It's like, it's in Toronto. And so I went, and I'm very happy for that choice.
Awesome.
But yeah, like with science, like I was like, what am I going to do after a science degree? Like I didn't really know what my other options I would have had. Some sort of grad school.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want to dig in right now, since we already went through that beginning phase. Then you went into the school and figure out which way you want to go. Tell me your story. How it started.
Oh, like where I'm at now?
Where you are at, where you were starting.
Okay.
How it went.
So go through grad school, become a chiropractor. And then, so I graduate, and then you got to just find a place to kind of start working or, start a practice. My sister's a chiropractor, so I started practicing. She had a clinic she has a clinic still in Hamilton. It's in another area now, but the clinic she was at, I joined that practice. And I started working there. And then I got an opportunity in Brampton, like just by fluke. I was at a friend's birthday party, and another one of her friends was there. And she was like, oh yeah, like, you're a chiropractor now. Like I'm at this clinic, I'm a life coach. they had a chiropractor, but the chiropractor, like, he moved out, he's going somewhere else. She's like, you should like talk to them. And at that time this was right before I started practicing, because you have to wait a few months to get your license. And I was about to start at my sister's clinic, and I was like, okay, cool, like I could totally like do this, because I could still live in Stony Creek, go to the Hamilton clinic. I had another sister that was living in Toronto. I could stay with her. And actually I was already staying with her because I was in school in Toronto. I kind of wanted to stay in Toronto. And then I was like, oh, so then I can drive to Brampton and work in Brampton. That's where my clinic is now. Anyway, so I met with these guys, started working together. That practice kind of just like boomed. I guess maybe because of the area I was in. I was also working with a bunch of medical doctors. And so I was getting like great referrals. And like this industry, like referrals is very important.
That's right.
So then that business kind of like was doing much better than my Hamilton practice, which was much slower for me. So then I decided to leave that and just like focus on the Brampton practice. Fully moved to Toronto, so no more going back and forth. It was also like too much driving. Like I was doing it, but it was a lot. And then so that practice like just like kind of took off. And then I guess in 2016, so that would have put me 4 or 5 years into practice already. I have this partner in a couple of my other businesses. We all decided to come together and open up a big medical center. And that's where we're at now. It's like a huge medical center. And so then I expanded my practice. I hired physios and massage and all that kind of jazz. We're a full out rehab center. We're a big rehab center. And we've been going strong, since 2016 now. And awesome. Then it's such a big facility that it gave me opportunities to open other businesses in the medical field. So I've kind of like, expanded my horizons. It's not just that I'm a chiropractor anymore. I do a few other things.
So how from the beginning, from moving from Hamilton and going into Toronto and then opening this new facility with your colleagues, I guess, right? Your partners. What was the moment that you decided that you want to grow the practice beyond what you are doing right now, meaning chiropractic clinic, and then start expanding? Was it the moment where you started hiring different practitioners to your rehab center, or that opened the horizon? Okay, maybe I can do more of this, more of that.
Yeah, so I mean, like the facility we're in is just so big. The space that I got from a rehab center, like it only made sense to have like, even now I could add another 10 practitioners, like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's space there. So it only made sense to kind of do that and make it a full out rehab center. And then the other businesses kind of happened over time, just through the connect that I have with my business partner. Just opportunities would come up and ideas. We're both very entrepreneurial. I'm the kind of person, I think I'm a little much too sometimes. Like I want to start this business and that business, and I've done that. I'm trying to like just like focus a little more now. But yeah, it's just like over time, like we had the ability to, just based on like, like even time wise, like I'm doing a lot, but at the same time, like I have other practitioners and like I have really amazing staff. So like I'm able to kind of like take a step back and kind of work on other projects. And that's like my end game too. I want to kind of do that. And just like where my interest lies, like, you know what I mean? So I love, the whole anti-aging space, and I love the aesthetic space. So that's why one of the other businesses that we opened within our facility is like a medical spa. I just like have interest there, and like I want to try all these things on myself. So why not,
So what does it mean, a medical spa?
Okay, so it's more so I'd like to call it a medical aesthetics clinic. So we provide non-surgical procedures to help with anti-aging, with skin conditions, that sort of thing. Okay. So it's not surgery or anything like that, but it's like, higher end like services that we offer. Not just facials, not just Botox, not just filler, that kind of thing. We do those things too, for sure. But more like procedures that involve technology.
Okay.
We're very technology in all of our practices. Like we're very technology based. Even my rehab clinic, very technology based. I have like lasers and different machines that would really help accelerate the healing process. So I'm all about that.
Is it about the tissues, or is it about the muscle, like the machinery that you have on your in your facility? Which, like, what's direction is it aiming for? Like,
okay, so for the rehab clinic, tissues, most like tissues, joints, all that kind of stuff, like healing at the cellular level. And then for the medical spa, yeah, like it's kind of like anti-aging, like collagen building, like helping with like scar removal, those kinds of things.
okay.
Yeah, like totally like fully anti-aging and just like rejuvenation. The clinic is called Rejuvenate by Peak Human. So, I mean, that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah.
Rejuvenate.
I get you. So it seems like you went through the whole process of doing one thing and then branching out to the parallel businesses that can kind of fill in the gaps.
Yeah, so we're like a full out, like I'm really into like wellness and like, as I said, anti-aging and just like feeling and looking good. So it kind of like naturally I feel like I would move in that direction if I was to, like, you know, try to expand in the realm of like health.
I get you. And on the feeling side, I wanna know what you guys are doing to make people feel younger and more rejuvenated.
Well, we're making them look younger on the spa side.
Yeah.
And then feeling side, like, you know, we're a rehab center, so we're like rehabbing you back to feeling good, like whether you're, you know, if it's just an age-related disease, if it's an injury. So a lot of what chiropractors, physiotherapists, massage therapists do is just like getting people like back to their optimal or getting them better than optimal.
Yeah.
So it's just basically like wellness, getting people feeling good, like their bodies feeling good.
I get you. Is there any part that you have osteopathy as well into that?
So I don't have an osteopath at my clinic. I've considered it and I'm always expanding. So it is something that's still like on the table for me, but I just haven't hired somebody.
Okay, I get you. Yeah, it's in the field of rejuvenation.
Right,
I think
exactly,
one of the
for
things
sure.
that comes to mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, because it's a different technique.
Technique, for
right?
sure.
And I believe that everybody is a little bit different, right? So depending on the condition that a person is facing.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's what I do. Like I want different options to treat people because, you know, sometimes just a chiropractic adjustment doesn't do it for certain people. They need a little more. They feel like they need a little bit more. So we have different options, as I said, different technology. I can treat them in a different way, or I can send them to my physiotherapist. I can send them to my massage therapist. So.
Get you. Yeah, so it's like basically a full whole-rounded package that you can offer.
We're trying to make this medical center a one-stop shop. So there's medical doctors there. We have a pharmacy there. We have all my services there. So, you know, we have other services as well. So like a place where, you know, you can just go and if you can bring something up and I can probably have a solution for you or refer you to the right person. Like that's what we're trying to get to.
And I'm trying to understand how that would work basically for a person walking in. They have a condition, you see them, you see that it is not only chiropractic issue. Would you directly send that person to another practitioner to see the patient, let's call that person? Or is it like multi-day process? How the whole thing?
It can be done within seconds. If we know exactly who we're signing them to, you know, if they're available, the appointment will be there. If it's an outside referral, we'll make that connect and we'll do that.
Okay, yeah. Amazing. I want to know on the Maverick side. Okay. Of things, and first of all, what does Maverick mean to you? Let's start there.
Oh, I don't even really know what it means.
On the Maverick that I bring, and you resemble a person like that, is someone who is doing things on their own, in their own. Goes through life in their own terms. Okay. So I believe every business owner, every person who have their own practice
Right.
is the kind of maverick, right? Everyone is different, so it's a different way of doing things. So how then, I will ask the question a little bit different. How are you different?
Yeah, I think I am. I don't know that I'm. I mean, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are probably very much so like this. So it's probably not just me, but I am. I have a very, very, very strong work ethic, and I believe that is what has helped me get to where I am. And I think that also like helps motivate me because I feel like I have this great work ethic, so I feel like I can do like anything. Like I really do feel like I can, you know, do a lot.
Conquer the word.
I mean, I think that most people, I think if you really apply yourself and like, and it's not just like work, I think like other parts of your life too, I think you can find success. It's just a matter of like figuring out like how to do it and then like putting the work in to do it. But again, you have to have that motivation, you have to have that drive, and you have to like actually like sit down and like, you know, tell yourself, hey, I can do this.
Yep.
And then you have to like execute. So you have to like use that work ethic to like get you there. So I don't know. I think most entrepreneurs are probably like that, you know? So I think I'm kind of like that.
It sounds like because of the drive that you have, this is the way you go, and like you can focus pretty deeply on the work at hand. How does the balance side of things look like for you?
Oh, I balance quite well. I do work really hard while I'm like working at work, but like I live a very like I like to enjoy my life too. I travel like a lot. So that's how I kind of balance it out. Like
what does it mean a lot? Because that's different for everybody, right?
Like for sure once a month I'm out of the country. Every few weeks sometimes. Just because I want to see the world. I think like the world, I love going to see a different country because I love experiencing other cultures and like other foods. I'm a big foodie, so I love going to different restaurants and trying different cuisines and just engulfing in different cultures. So I think, you know, I travel a lot, so there's balance there. Like there's enough time away from work. So when I am here, I do have to work very hard in order to, you know, be able to take off that kind of time.
Since we are on the note of travel, I want to know how you travel because everybody does it differently.
How?
How does your getaway, your travel time look like? What would you do?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I'm not really a planner. So, like, I just kind of like go with the flow sort of thing. If I'm going with people who are planners, that's great for me because I'll let them kind of like take over. But yeah, like, you know, I just want to see like great sights. I want to make sure I go to good restaurants. It's basically just like sightseeing, going to the, you know, if there's something very unique about the place I'm going to, like a, you know, a specific landmark or like some type of cultural thing that I should go and see, I'll definitely do those things. I'll probably Google, you know, the best restaurants in that city and do that. But yeah, it's just like nothing, like I'm not a big planner when it comes to those things. I'm a kind of go with the flow type of person.
Spontaneous.
Yeah, so I'm like down for like kind of whatever. Like for example, I'm going to Amsterdam on Wednesday.
Wow.
And I have not planned anything. Like I don't know what to see there. I'm just going to go with it and kind of figure it out.
I believe there is a charm to going with the flow, especially when you are traveling, because this way you are not prepared to do certain things and you are more open to absorb what you get and what the real culture look like instead of just this is what I have to see, all those points, check marks and all that. There's
no expectation. So if I miss something, okay, like whatever, like maybe that gives me a reason to come back here one day. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So there's no disappointment if you don't really know what you're missing.
So besides Amsterdam, what are the next destinations for you coming?
I'm going to Japan.
Mm.
I haven't done Japan. I'm going in the fall. I love Asia like so much. I try to go to Asia every single year. I've done many countries in Asia. So I think that's the most exciting trip for me. Like I've been wanting to go to Japan. I was supposed to go in 2020. Obviously that did not happen. So doing it this year.
Where are you going? Tokyo or?
I'll do Tokyo, and then I honestly have no idea. Like again, that's a trip though that must be planned because I feel like there's like spots that need to be hit. I don't know at all yet what those spots are. I've been like looking on Instagram and like, you know, reels will come up, I guess, because I've been searching and stuff. So like I've kind of like saved a few cool reels and stuff about Japan, but I think that trip will have to plan out because it's going to be like, I don't know, it'll be like a good 10 days to 2 weeks type of trip, and I'm sure there's certain things that need to be seen there, and like traveling from like, you know, organizing like travel from like Tokyo to like other spots. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I know it's gonna be like really awesome.
The phenomenal part about Japan is the transport system.
I've seen that. I'm so excited. I saw like how the trains operate and like how pretty they are and like the scenery outside, so I think it'll be great.
Like I think once you experience that, getting on Toronto subway would be pretty. Then during the pressing episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's phenomenal for sure. I definitely can recommend. We like for me and wife, it's one of the spots we definitely gonna be going back.
Amazing.
It's so phenomenal. That's
so great to hear.
It's a definitely different world altogether.
For sure.
And it's got that ancient vibe to it too. So it's pretty cool to see. So a little bit more open question that can provoke you to come up with creative answers. Where are you now?
Where am I now? In terms of like my life? I can say that in terms of business, I have a long ways to go, just based on where I want to be and just based on like where I think I can get. I think it's still like the beginning for me. So yeah, it's like very exciting because I feel like I can do a lot more, and I think I'll get there, you know, over time, and just setting more goals and like, you know, building relationships and like, yeah, I honestly have no idea what the future kind of looks like, but I just know that this is good, but it's, you know, the business is good, but it'll get better.
That's a good feeling to have, right?
Yeah, it's a kind of exciting.
Yeah.
You know, unknown is kind of like cool too. And like, it's like, you know, you have something to look forward to and it's not like stagnant, like it's not. So yeah, I guess we'll just kind of see what happens.
So the next one is where you want to go from here.
Well, in terms of business, again, like I always want to go, I think I want to go 10 times more than where we're at. You know what I mean? Like, I think the possibilities are, you know, there's lots of possibilities. So.
Can you uncover unwrap it a little bit for us here?
I don't know. Like, I think I'm open to like whatever, even like when it comes to business, like having different businesses and like expanding from there. And then like, even like one day I see myself taking like a huge step back from like, I mean, actually I already know that I want to take a step back from practicing within the next few years probably, and just literally focus on like running my businesses. So I guess that is something I see happening and something I want to happen, so I can put more dedication and time towards like operating the businesses, because right now I still practice. So of course that I love it, because I love my patients and I love meeting new patients every single day. So it's awesome. But, you know, like obviously that takes, you know, time from my day. Yeah. And then as you expand in business, like, you know, I want to like kind of just like run the show and, or let the show run even without me, you know, sort of thing. I don't know. Like, I just feel like, yeah, I want to kind of just be like a business owner sort of thing.
Okay.
And, like,
operator.
And I have amazing staff already that I'm kind of, building up. So it can kind of, I mean, it already runs without me. I travel so much and it's running great without me. But you know what I mean? Like, just like, so I can, take more of a step back and kind of then do, I don't know, something else, like run another business or like, I don't know. Just there's lots to do.
A vision. You it sounds like you are thinking about having more of a visionary role, so you can expand in different directions, and now it's kind of limited to the time you've got left after practicing, right?
Yeah.
How big is your staff team right now?
There's a lot of people working at the clinic. The clinic's pretty big. I would say there's regularly like 8 to 10 people. Yeah, but like within the whole facility, like there's probably like can't even tell you. Like every business has multiple people.
Yeah,
so
yeah, for sure, makes sense. So on the expansion side, you are thinking also in expanding your staff into multiple, like increasing like more chiros, more massages.
Exactly. Number of people working, just because we right now still have the space for it. Until there's no space for it, then
I get you.
Yeah,
I get you. You mentioned earlier that you want to set up new goals, you want to go after kind of exploring that area. How are you going about that topic in per se? Do you have a system in place that you like write them down? I don't know, go through them daily? What is your approach to goals?
I kind of like to put focus on one or two of the businesses and work on them as we go. Like we just opened up this medical spa. So a lot of my efforts right now are going towards that and expanding that. Not even expanding that, getting that running, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
So it gets a little busier and then from there. So I think we have just small goals in terms of each business. And it's honestly most of it comes down to just weekly staff meetings or even talking on the daily, what tasks need to get done. It's a lot of it's very day-to-day type of stuff. I'm again, I'm not too much of a planner in the sense that I don't do any of that set writing down my goals or anything like that. It's kind of I feel like it's all in my head, and I'm very go with the flow. So I do think sometimes it's good to put it down and put a focus on it, but I'm kind of just moving all over, and I have the right people around me, so it kind of works that way. We can bounce off each other and work together to get whatever needs to get done. But I feel like I have the vision in my head of where I see things going, so it's these little things that we're executing every single day, sort of thing.
Okay,
to get
makes
there.
Makes sense. So on since you are definitely a visionary type of person and the person who kind of go with the flow, as you said, do you have how is your business partner, how is that working with you guys? Are you guys similar?
We're the same.
You're the same.
We're the same. So he's my partner in the medical spa and the medical cannabis clinic. He's a medical doctor, and very similar. We both have all these ideas, and we want to do so many different things, which is good, but also we're sometimes all over the place. I think we're both kind of like that, but we're so similar that it's kind of it's we're just so easygoing. If he wants to do something, I'm always, he always knows that I'm cool with it, sort of thing. We trust each other so much that it's very go with the flow with us too. But it really works. I don't think I'd want it any other way than the way it is.
So I'm super curious, how did you guys figure out that you want to do something together? It's what was the moment? How did you click and decided that you're going to share business and go into that kind of relationship?
Yeah, it just kind of happened with the clinic, starting at the clinic. It was kind of his practice, the medical practice, where I joined as a chiropractor, and then we expanded into this facility, and so we were technically like kind of like working side by side sort of thing. And then the cannabis clinic, he had ran a cannabis clinic before, and he was like, hey, like we kind of became friends, and like, you know, we worked together so closely in terms of like he would refer so many of his patients to me, to my rehab clinic. And then he kind of just like got me on board with the medical cannabis clinic. And then, you know, he just kind of knew I had interest in terms of the whole anti-aging space. So that's how we kind of came up with the idea to start this medical spa together. Like, it's just like the relationship just kept building. We've done so many different things together, like investing together and different projects together, that it just, now it's just like so natural for like, if he's doing something, to be like, okay, hey, you want to like jump in on this? Or like, yeah, I don't even really know how it just like started. Like, it just very natural. And yeah.
It seems like all was that spark was that the party that you mentioned, that you were referred. There was another person.
Yes, I was referred to his clinic, and I thank God for that dinner, my friend's birthday dinner. I'll never forget that, because if that didn't happen, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I'm sure I'd be somewhere great, but like, I'm so happy that I got this opportunity to work in their clinic, because then all of these businesses came from that. Yeah. So it's like, I think about that instance, or that dinner, or that conversation with my friend's friend. It's very cool. That kind of made where I'm at today, for sure.
So, knowing that situation occurred because you've been in the right moment, in the right place, do you believe that's a part of your journey and karma, or is it just draw of luck?
I think I'm a Hindu. I believe in karma. And I don't know, I think it's kind of meant to be. Like, I knew the people anyways. Like, I knew the girl that, I don't know. No, you're right. Like, I don't think it was luck. Like, I don't know how much I believe in luck, but yeah, I kind of do believe that it was like meant to be, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it would have happened otherwise. It wouldn't have probably happened otherwise if I wasn't there, and it was kind of like that conversation was like meant to kind of happen. I've never really thought about it that way. I was just like, damn, I'm like really happy that I went to that dinner.
Yeah. It's funny how life goes, and the people that we meet by certain situation, or being referred to someone, can lead to completely different crazy things.
I love that. I've met so many just like people that are like a big part of my life now, through like random situations. So yeah.
You've got any funny story about that? Or peculiar?
I mean, a few, like, a couple of my best friends is just, they're random ways of meeting. Like, I mean, I live in Toronto, so one of my best friends I met in a club in a washroom, and we were like very tight, very like one of my best friends. Another set of best friends, like, I randomly met one of my best friends' brother out one day, and we kind of became friends, and he introduced me to his brother, and then me and the brother just like hit it off in a friendship way, and now him and his husband and me are like super like tight. Like, I travel with them, I meet them all the time. I was just in Miami with them. So yeah, I think that I've definitely like randomly met people, and they've become like super part of my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's super motivating to hear that. Just going outside and being open to those connections just can make your path in so much richer and so much better. Your life overall.
And sometimes you think like, people say like, it's hard to make friends as an adult. I think like so many of my friends now I've made as an adult. Like, I definitely still have my core from childhood, but most of my friends now are like from like uni on, like from uni, then grad school, and then this other part of my life, and like, so yeah, and also a lot of randomness.
That's true. That's true. Like as we go through the life, I guess those friendships change, and some come, some go,
Yep.
and some are a little bit loose, and some are more become tighter
Mm-hmm.
after the time. But yeah, it's I heard that there is levels of friendship that we all have. Some friends are there to help us propel our life in certain directions. Some friends are there to stay. Some friends are there to come along on the journey, and that's beautiful in
Mm-hmm.
itself, right?
Yeah. Whatever way it is.
Correct. Exactly. I completely agree. Mm, coming from the Indian background, I would assume you're a community person. Like, so how does that look like for you? Like your friends, how would you see if you would if I ask you to describe your tribe, what that would be?
Okay, that's so hard for me because like I have so many tribes. Like it's actually like sometimes I think I'm like, oh my god, I have like so many like really good friends and core groups of friends,
Mm.
and they all they all mix, but they also there's some that don't mix in the sense not because they can't mix, just because there'd be no time to like mix those different groups. Um, so that's a very difficult question for me because I do feel like I have multiple tribes, like in terms of like my friends from different parts of my education. Like I have core friends from that. Um, and I truly feel like I'm as tight with all of these different groups. It's not like there's just like one set of people that like that you'll see me with all the time. So I'm not gonna be able to answer that question.
So you'll be a soul of a party type of person, I would assume.
Yeah. Maybe.
I will we'll go a little bit into the open-sided questions more. I will just bounce them off of you. Let me tell me what first comes to your mind.
Okay.
Let's start easy. Who's your ideal client?
Oh my god, anybody. An ideal client, like in terms of my chiropractic practice.
And any of your practice or your businesses, I would say, probably.
Okay, so an ideal client would be someone who wants to get better and like understands like what it takes to get better. That like health is not a quick fix. And they understand that like, you know, it may take some work to get you to the point where you should be or where you want to be, and someone who is willing to like do the work to get there. That means you might need to come in more than once. You might need to go home and do some exercises like I advise you to do. Just someone who's like actually invested
Committed.
in getting better, and like not expecting it to kind of be like, you know, like Tylenol, like a painkiller. It ain't
Right.
like that.
So on that note, what's your biggest problem right now or challenge?
Okay. My biggest challenge. I don't know that I have a really large challenge. I know that sounds. I don't know what that sounds like, but I'm very like I don't know. I try not to like get stressed about life and things, and like I just feel like if you're logical you can find a solution. Like I don't know how that like I don't know if that's a good enough answer, but I don't know that I have like a really large challenge right now in terms of like work and stuff like that. I think maybe like time would probably be it. Like if I had more time to focus on um each individual business, then maybe they would move a little more quick, or they would just be more successful. I don't know. I guess time would be the only real thing. Like, there's only so much I can do, and yeah. But even that, like, I think I'll just eventually get there.
So, knowing that, what does success mean to you?
It means, like, it's like a feeling, I think. I think it's a feeling that you get within yourself. Like, I think success is looks different for every single person. And I think it's like a feeling that one would get. Like, how, for me, it's like, I want to feel accomplished. I want to feel like I'm at that point where, yeah, like I feel like I'm, you know, getting successful, but like I know that I have so much more to do, and I have so much more I can do, and that's when I think that feeling will come to me that, yeah, like I've reached that point. I don't know. I think it's like a feeling, because like, you know, it's there's like other, you know, certain aspects of, you know, this business and that business that like are successful, but it's like an overall, you know, how I overall feel about everything. I don't know if I'm describing it well.
Yeah, for sure. So on the contrary, what is your failure story?
I've definitely started a couple businesses that just didn't, that I didn't follow through with, and that I think is my failure. Again, I think I mentioned I'm like the type of person that has all these ideas, and I'll just like sometimes I'll throw money into an idea because I just think that, you know, this is gonna be so great, and then I don't follow through to finish that job. And I've done that a couple of times. And that's when I kind of realized that I maybe need to focus on these few little things instead of like putting my hands in every single cookie jar, because I am definitely that type that will. Because I just get excited and I'm like, oh my God, I want to do this and I want to do that, and like I want to do everything. So definitely there's a few things that I started, never finished. And that's just based on time, not fully committing, like, you know, and also not like fully seeing like this is going to become amazing and this is going to become so successful. Because again, as I said in the beginning, like I feel like you need to like believe it, and you need to like just feel like, to motivate yourself to do it, you have to like feel like you can do it, and then you have to put the work in at that point, you know. So yeah, I've definitely like started some things and not followed through.
Do you feel like those are failures, or do you feel like those are stepping stones to where you are right now?
No, I think some of them are just, I mean, they're failures, but like in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because it's helped me to realize that, I guess. So maybe that is a stepping stone, because now I'm like, okay, shit, like you need to just chill and stop, you know, going around town doing this and that, and just focus on what you have going on so you can make that, you know,
more successful.
Exactly. So a little bit of both. Like it doesn't matter, like, you know, there's not too much loss from it. But yeah, I guess I've learned a lesson or two.
Would you say that what you're lacking is maybe a person who can keep you organized or keep you on the loop? Do you have assistant or someone like that?
I do have someone that definitely like keeps me in check when I'm like all over the place, for sure. And that really does help. And maybe I just need more of that, because sometimes I am all over the place.
Too many great ideas.
Yeah, so many ideas. So many ideas. I'm getting better though.
It's a process,
Yeah,
so
it's a process,
it takes
sure.
some time, right? What would you say that you would like people to understand about what you're doing, the like general public or people do that you deal with? Like, what is a thing or one thing or a couple things that are misunderstood and you would like to keep them straight so people get it?
I don't know about the understood part, but I know that like my goal in terms of like all my businesses are very health related, and like so I'm very passionate about overall health and people being healthy and living like the best life that they could live physically, because I think we are living in a time where we have access to like great healthcare and like different avenues to like reach our goals. And not just like, I'm not just talking about illness, I'm talking about like even like fitness and like feeling healthy and like feeling good. Like I think that, you know, there's options for most people to find ways to like just feel better. And then I think when you feel better, like obviously like your health wise and just like about yourself and everything, that things can like, you know, I don't know, like I just think that overall things can be good. And like I don't know, I think we're in a place and a time where like we have access to like so much knowledge. So yeah, I try to, for my patients that come and see me, like, yeah, I'm gonna fix your back pain, but there's like so many other things that just through conversation we can talk about and figure out like, hey, okay, like you should maybe try this, or like, and it doesn't even have to be something that like I have in my clinic, like I'm just talking in general, like a workout routine or like the way you eat your food. And yeah, so I don't know, I just think that I'm trying to get people just feeling positive and great, because I see people in pain all the time. So it's like when you see people in pain, like that sucks, like it's just like, if I feel bad for them, and like it's like I think it's like sometimes it's really hard to see, so it's like you want people to just get better and feel better. And then like, you know, when you see someone when they get out of pain, like it's really awesome, because it really changes sometimes like their whole like outlook and their personality. So yeah, I'm just like trying to kind of do that. That's why I guess I'm like, you know, in on all of these types of different businesses that have to do with like healthcare. It's all I really know, basically.
Just making people better and healthier, it's not just because
no, not
it's
just,
a huge
yeah.
it's a huge step, and as a species, as a humanity, we are just going to the slopey slope, and people are getting worse and worse, right? In a different ways, through starting with the food that we eat, to the less movement that we have, time we spend in front of monitors and all that, right? So instead of being out in nature or sun or whatever, right? It's a lot to, definitely a lot to tackle. Through your career, through your business, what are, you would say, technologies, relationships, or maybe tools that you leverage to be more successful?
I think it would have to be like the overall atmosphere that I've created in my workspace. So I think it's a very welcoming environment, and that's been always super, super, super key for me. Because I even when I got into this field, I always remembered like when I was a kid, I went to the chiropractor's office, and actually it was the chiropractor that my sister was working with. Like it was his office, and I loved going there because his front desk, the people there were like the nicest people. Like they were just so welcoming and so sweet. And then I related that back to the dentist's office we used to go to. It was not the same type of feeling. And so I always knew that, like, you know, my office has to have that feeling. Like, I want people to come in and, like, as I said, people come in and they're in pain, and sometimes they got an attitude and they're not feeling great. And so, okay, like, yeah, it sucks if someone's like being bitchy to you or whatever the case is, but we always have to like make them feel good, or like just accommodate in some way. where it's a very welcoming environment. And I think we have it down. And I think you'll come into my office and you'll feel happy, and you'll feel the vibe will be like
good and positive.
Good. Yeah. And also my vibe with my patients, like it's very like we're like friends. Like the way I'm talking to you is the way I'm talking to my patients. It isn't like, so I think the atmosphere is like what we've created is like, I'm very proud of that, and I'm very happy that that's how it is. Like that's the only way I want it to be. Even myself, like working in an environment, I never want to be in an environment where like I don't feel comfortable, or like something's off, or like, like vibes are off with like certain people. Like it won't happen. It's not gonna happen on my watch. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to go through that feeling either.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious how you keep that in check, though, because people in the front office, they deal, like you said, they might deal with a lot of unhappy, tired, in pain customers. So like the negative feeling can be contagious on some point. So
I mean, I think it can, and it does, like, maybe here and there it might happen, but I don't even really got to keep it in check with the people I have with me right now, to be honest. It's just, there's certain personalities that they're just great, to be honest. And it's understandable if you're having a bad, like totally, like if you're having a bad day, or like this person got to you, or like shit does get annoying.
That's right.
But I mean, it's not going to last forever. I don't know. It's just, I guess you gotta hire the right people.
For sure. Definitely a process, and choosing right people is not easy, right? So
no. So when you got them, you better hang on tight.
Yeah, true.
I've learned that too.
Oh yeah. Me myself personally, I went through a lot of recruiting process in my previous businesses, and finding good people is, I think, if I think about it right now, about every business owner that I know, everyone who is talking about business is people. It's always like, I can get clients like that. It's not a problem. Getting great people who are going to serve them and treat them right, that's the biggest one.
And I think it's getting harder too, this day and age.
Why do you think so? What's the reason?
I think people are preoccupied with other things, and maybe so work ethic becomes a factor. I don't know. I think like as of recently, maybe 10 years ago is different. Like we're way more on social media these days, and I think our minds, even myself sometimes, like my mind's all over the place. Like I'm on my phone. I'm like not like in the zone of what I should be doing.
Do you feel like sometimes you would need that time of getting grounded and coming back to the place where of no distraction and the focus?
I mean, I definitely need it sometimes, for sure, and I think most people do. And so I think that could be a factor. I think the social media thing, and just like people are just, they're preoccupied with other things, and maybe they're not focused.
Yeah, it's definitely the world we are living in. It's programmed and based to distract us constantly, day in, day out, and that's additional struggle that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Thinking about your tribes, which you said you've got many, like if you've got the person who is either new or is in that place, but it's kind of, you feel that they are getting distance, what would you say you would do to make them feel that they belong more?
Oh, like within my tribes, if someone's, I mean, I think you just have to like communicate and like just show that you're there, sort of thing. I mean, it does happen, like, our lives are so busy, and like how do you keep up with like this person, that person, this person? But I think just like letting people know that you are available, in the sense of like you're not like all gonna be there like 24/7, but you're still like there for them, and like yeah, just like I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. I think sometimes it's just even hard to like notice that if it's like unless you're talking on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But it's good to check in with your friends and to make sure that things are good too, if you haven't heard from them in a long time. And sometimes there are those friends where I got a bunch of friends where it's like we don't talk all the time, but just randomly pick up and see where you're at and make sure everything's good.
It's definitely one of the things to check on people that you care about, right?
Yeah.
Just from time to time, because even walking or driving through the city, we don't know what other people are dealing with.
Yeah. And some people you will never know unless you ask.
That's right.
I'm like probably one of those people. You ain't gonna know that I'm going through something unless like I'm just like not the type that will come out and be like, oh hey, like this is happening, or
this is what I'm struggling with, right?
Yeah.
Get you. I've got two deeper ones.
Oh, great.
That might be...
I don't know how good I'm doing at this.
You are really good. You are really good. Don't worry about it. So just... For a wrap up, we're gonna hit those last ones. And what is the question that you like to be asked more often?
Oh. That I like to be asked more often. Maybe like, this might be weird, but like what I'm thinking, because I feel like sometimes like people assume, and they don't really know what you're actually, and they make an assumption based on, I don't know, appearance or not like nonverbal cues, right? And so perhaps that would be better as opposed to just assuming, because I think sometimes I'm like very straight faced, and that doesn't mean that I'm anything really. It's just the way my face is, sort of thing. So I think probably that, like depending on the situation, but yeah, like what I'm actually thinking and not assuming what I'm thinking.
So then what are you thinking
right now? I mean, this is fun. This is good. You're very engaging, and you've asked me so many questions. I haven't asked you anything, but I feel like this is the whole point.
That's the whole point,
bad
for sure.
I am the type of person that so this is why I don't do a lot of podcasts, and I love asking people questions. If I ever am in a one-on-one, I will always just be I have so many questions. I want to know every single thing. So I find this is difficult for me to do. Like I probably have to get used to being on podcast, like, speaking like this, because I'm always the person I love learning about people. So what I'm feeling right now is like, this is weird for me because like I'm not learning about the person that like I'm speaking to. I just like, I'm a question asker, and I'm like always the one like getting
proactive on it. Yeah,
like I like that's how I think you get to know people.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
That's right.
And
I think that's was it in Dale's Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People? I think the Bible of relationship was someone was talking. I think the story was something like someone was it was a dinner or a conference or something like that, and the gentleman started talking to the lady next to him, and he asked her 2 questions, and then she talked for an hour or 2.
Yeah.
And at the end of the conversation, she said, like, "You are a great conversationalist."
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. People love talking about themselves. I don't particularly, I love learning about people. I think that's why also like I love practicing because I learn so much about people, and it's interesting, and it's like nice, and so yeah, that would be it.
Awesome. To sum it up,
Okay.
what have been the greatest day of your life?
Oh dear, I've had so many great days. The greatest day of my life. I don't know that I've had it yet. I've had a lot of good days for sure.
What comes first in mind then?
It would probably be like there's no like specific day. It'd probably just be like a day where I'm like with my, this is gonna be so like cliche, but like just with my parents and my siblings. They can be there too, but probably that, because like that's doesn't have to happen as much anymore, just because everyone's got their own families and everyone's busy and all that. So right now, like that would look like a really great day for me.
That's great. Naeha, it was a pleasure. Thank
Thanks.
you for being here, and
thanks for having me,
and being a great partner in this conversation.
I hope so.
You definitely did. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
And it's a wrap. We dare you. If you are bold enough, hit subscribe, repost the rebellion, and don't miss out on next week's episode. It's going to be bloody brilliant. See you on the next one.